Thank you for joining. We will start with the live session in just a minute. Hello and welcome back to another session of the Retail Trader Special Series with me, Kavita Agrawal. I am the founder of EXP-Invest, and like every Monday, today I have brought to you a topic of general knowledge related to the stock market. Today we are here to talk about micro-cap investing. Why this topic? Because micro-cap investing is something that has garnered a lot of interest from retail traders. However, there are a lot of risks. There are a lot of things that we need to understand in order to deal with microcap investings or microcap stocks in a better way. There are a lot of things that are different when it comes to investing in microcap stocks versus any other stock in the market. Now, let's first define what a microcap stock is. Microcap stocks are stocks where the market cap is really, really small. If you look at the Google definition, okay, what is a microcap stock? It will tell you in US terms, the market capitalization of $50 million to $250 million is where a microcap lies. If we ask Google for the same definition for an Indian stock or for a stock that is listed on the National Stock Exchange, over there we see that stocks which rank below 250 on the market cap are all considered micro cap. There is in fact even an index which is dedicated to Nifty Microcap 250 index. There are some of the problems with microcap stocks which actually make investing in them really risky. The biggest problem is illiquidity. When I say illiquidity, what I basically mean is that when a microcap stock trades, often you will see it opens and it closes directly at the circuit itself. Some microcap stocks move on to garner more market cap and change their category from microcap to maybe small cap, mid cap, even large cap. One such example was Alok Industries. Let's take an example. Let's take a look at the charts to understand that better. So for instance, this is the chart of Alok Industries. Today, if you see on this trading view, we can see what the market cap of the stock is. It is around 160 billion rupees. So this no longer comes in the category of being a micro cap stock. However, if you see in the time gone by, that is before 2020, Alok Industries was also one of the micro cap stocks, and you can see how illiquid trading in the stock was. On most days it would open on circuit, on most days it would also close on circuits. But something started to change in the stock since November 2020. You see the characteristic of the stock changed. The way the stock moves, the price liquidity, more price started to register here. So another big problem with microcap stocks is the tendency, or what we in layman language we call pump and dump. Now, because the overall volume is so less, it is easier for stock market operators to operate the stock, which means depending upon their own motive, they can drive the prices up really strongly. They can also drive the prices down really strongly. Now, this is something that is not possible to be performed in a micro cap or a large cap stock. This is also the reason why it is strongly advised not it is strongly advisable for retail investors to not invest in microcap stocks. From 6 p.m. onwards today, we have a guest joining this session. His name is Ayush Agrawal, and he is a microcap expert. Now, while I am sharing few pointers with you from a very high level, I am by far not a microcap investing expert. However, because I have been receiving a lot of requests about the topic of microcap, I have decided to invite Mr. Ayush Agrawal, who is himself, he has been investing in microcap stocks since many years, and he is an expert. On Twitter, he has around 17,000 followers, and he has agreed to come and talk to us about how microcap investing is different. So this session will be conducted solely on YouTube, and if you wish to attend this session, I am going to drop the link with the members attending this session with us on ET. So here's what I'm going to do. So this is our Telegram channel where we have shared the information of this session right here. So I'm going to copy this link and I have pasted it in the comments on the ET markets. So if you wish to continue and know more about microcap investings, do click this link and make sure that you come back to the session at 6 p.m. because that is when we will have Mr. Ayush with us to tell us more about microcap investing. Now, as for this session, we still have 30 minutes more to go. So I will request you to please share your stock queries in the comment, and we will spend some time answering your stock queries. Let's take a look at the comments and let's start resolving some of the queries of the members present with us today. Let me just zoom in a little bit on the screen. All right, let's see. Lots of queries coming in. That is amazing. Now, for those who are new, if you wish to connect with me, I am dropping the link to my Telegram channel for you. Be sure to click this link and join the Telegram channel because, mind you, there are few fake channels running with my name and it can be a little bit confusing because these fake channels have more subscribers. So don't fall prey to these, scammy channels. Just join the link that I have dropped, or if you use Telegram, you can also search Trade with Kavita without any space, without any underscore, without any numbers, just Trade with Kavita and join my Telegram channel. So with that, let's take a look at the first comment. All right, so let's take a look at Gail for our guest user. So he has a positional trade entry at around 175. Let's see, 175 on Gail. So am I looking at the right stock? Because I thought you said Gail and positional trade entry at 175. Ah, there you go. Just loaded. Okay. Um, I think you're talking about the future prices. We're looking at spot, so I'm going to continue looking at spot. I think the underlying trend is quite strong here. However, if you see there is this negative divergence developing, this is not a very good sign. This can sometimes mean that the trend is getting exhausted, especially when a rally has been really strong. But today, again, we see that this resistance has been kind of breached with strong volumes. So, what I would recommend is please make sure that you maintain stop loss here, and your stop loss on the spot prices should be 165 rupees. And I will request all members that for the sake of relevance, see, I am not an FNO trader, so please don't ask for FNO queries. Stick to cash queries, and the best way to ask a query is state the name of the stock and your cost price. Then I will be able to help you in the best manner. So we have Amar, and he's bought Zeal. Oh, media stock. Okay. At 248. I am not bullish on media stocks right now. And let's see if the charts are looking any kind. Okay, so a lower circuit has already been hit and the stock has fallen 32% since I warned against Zeal. Let's clean up the chart a little bit. Few days ago, someone else also had asked for Zeal, and I told them to get out of the stock like immediately. I really hope that they did. What I can see is that Zeal is in a very strong bear trend. Everything about this chart right now looks quite bearish. I can see your entries 248. Ouch, that okay, that is literally where I asked the previous audience member to exit. I don't see recovery happening anytime soon. In fact, this looks like the beginning of a new bull trend, bear trend altogether. So if you see, this stock has been in bear trend since this point. So here it fell 80%, and then over a period of around 92 weeks, right, it gave what can only be called a pullback from or rather it corrected the downtrend, right, over some period of time, but now it has again gone into the downtrend, and I would expect this downward correction to actually continue for long because the volume is like really strong. So your best bet here is salvage whatever you can, and even now you should just exit the stock, invest whatever remains somewhere else, and with strong risk management. Never violate your stop losses, because what I can see here that if you had set a stop loss, you might have gotten an opportunity to get out here, right? And always work closely with a research analyst to avoid such drawdowns in your portfolio. Reliance bought at 2300 for Dilip Sharma. Oh, very nice. Very one-sided, strong rally. I mean, yeah, this is what has been also uplifting the markets right now. What I see is that Reliance looks strong and it's expected to continue this amazing rally that has started. And wow, this is like a really, really strong candle with very strong volumes. So the uptrend is definitely expected to continue. And you basically having bought it at 2300, your stop loss. So this previous resistance that you see, you can set this as the stop loss. So 2780 can become a very, very safe stop loss for you and continue to hold the stock. If you want a little bit, if you're naturally, I think, holding the stock for a more longer term perspective, and considering that your stock is like good 26% in profit, still, I don't think the stock is going to retrace so much as to even retest or break the level of 2780. So I think that is a very reasonable stop loss for you right now. Let's move on. So we have Bhavesh ji, and he's asking for DLF. Okay, so if you attended my market outlook series on Friday, I mean, Friday was a holiday, but I still did the market outlook. What I clearly saw was that realty stocks have taken some correction, but are also showing signs of strength even now. So I think this little bit of correction from the top, just like here, the little bit of correction that happened led to another strong rally. I expect another strong rally will soon begin in the realty stocks again. So what you can do is, if you want to make a fresh position, go ahead and make it, keep a 5% stop loss, and enter realty stocks again, including DLF. Now, looking at Shravan's question for Rosary Bro. I don't know why are retail traders so interested in this particular stock. There's always someone or the other asking. And ever since I've started doing lives, I've never really seen a lot of positive activity unfolding here. And even now, I think the stock is taking strong resistance at this 500 EMA of the daily time frame. And I don't think this looks attractive at all. So I wouldn't suggest this to be a stock that you should keep in your portfolio. I think if you're holding it, you should exit it and get out, because there's a pretty good chance the stock can retest the level of 700 rupees. So let's take a look at rain for Mr. Dinak. All right, so we see a strong volume breakout here, and the problem is that even though the rally looks really strong with strong volume, strong momentum and everything, it's very hard for me personally to recommend you a fresh entry here, because if you see, rain is a stock that has a tendency to give strong rallies with strong volumes, but whether or not it sustains it is a completely different question. And this trend line here suggests that the stock has already come up to a very strong resistance. So I won't recommend a fresh entry here. If you, however, want to enter the stock, then just wait for it to come back and take a correction, and then you go and enter the stock, but not right now. Right now, it's run off quite a bit and it's not worth chasing the stock. We have Rajiv Bhatia ji. Welcome, Rajiv. Let's take a look at Thomas Cook for you for long term. Very strong rally unfolding, but this last leg of the rally is where I see on the weekly time frame little bit of exhaustion coming in, and that theme of exhaustion is also being repeated by the daily time frame, which is suggesting some correction. So I'm looking at the stock after a very, very long time. So let me just quickly go and draw some trend lines, and let's see. This looks really perfect. So we'll just clone that one. And what I can see that the stock is exactly at a very long term trend line resistance. So what I would recommend is, see, don't make any fresh entry in the stock whatsoever, but you should maintain this support that it took as your stop loss. Even on the long-term positions, this is a hefty 15, 16, 17% kind of stop loss around 151 rupees. And if the stock breaches 151, you should immediately get out of the stock, book your profits, because I can see that the uptrend kind of ended in the stock somewhere here, right? Somewhere here. This feels more like a phony rally, which I mean, ideally, I would use this kind of a rally to book my profits at a higher level and not even use a stop loss at 153. If I was studying the stock for a portfolio cleanup client, I would be recommending them to exit the stock. Okay, let's for Niharika, let's take a look at SJVN. All right, very strong rally unfolding. So SJVN was the stock that I had covered, is the first stock I have ever covered in my life. And I covered this stock back in 2012 for a case study. And actually 2014, 13 or 14. So it was somewhere around here. It was still very new, but I thought the stock had really good prospects. So that's where I'd covered. It was around 22 rupees. Today the stock is gone. So this is officially my first multi-bagger ever. So this rally that is unfolding, right? It's unfolding really strong. So continue to hold on to the stock and maintain a stop loss at the level of 115 here. And yes, this stock, even though it has moved up so much, I think it still looks quite attractive for fresh entry also. And again, for fresh entry also, you should maintain the stop loss at 115. But mind you, that's a pretty massive stop loss. But unfortunately, given the kind of momentum that is unfolding, it is not possible for me to give you a smaller stop loss than that. And on the target front, I think the first target for the stock is a mere 150, but a second target is a little bit more promising with 180. Now, just a reminder that if you also wish your stock queries to get answered and if you wish to interact with Ayush Agrawal at 6 p.m., where we will discuss about microcap stocks, then be sure to click the YouTube channel link that I have pasted in the comment and join the live session there. All right. Let's see. Carrying on with this. All right. Sipla for Jaswinder Singh. Sipla bought at 1213. I was looking at Sipla recently and I am actually actively seeking opportunities in this sector. And I think Sipla is looking strong. Let's see. So this has been a little bit of a correction that we saw here after this massive gap up on Tuesday. And I think that this stock has taken good support at the 100 EMA of 75-minute time frame, and the uptrend is expected to continue. So I would maintain stop loss at the level of 1305 and continue to hold on to this stock for another leg of rally. So I think a strong resistance. So this is a strong resistance trend line, and this has been breached. So I think the minimum target for which I am holding Sipla right now is 1600, and you can use the same target with, like I said, the stop loss for you should be somewhere around the level of 1308, just below the 100 EMA of the 75-minute time frame. So Gujarat Fluorochemical 2763 for Mr. Amit Subramaniam. Is it a good time to sell? Okay, let's take a look at Gujarat Fluorochemical Limited. Overall, my view on chemical stocks is very bullish. I think they are coming out of or rather preparing for a strong rally. Some stocks have already been very rallying strongly, but have been in small midterm or near term corrections, whereas there are some stocks which have been in correction but are getting ready to start like a fresh leg of rally. That's what I really think about the entire chemical sector. And Gujarat Fluorochemical Limited is not an exception here. I think uh, I think here, after taking support at the 75-minute time frames, 200 EMA, the stock has started to go up, and I expect that this upside is going to continue. The first target for me is 4,038, which is it is a 8.5%. It's very, very modest, but that's just the first target. If this trend line basically, which compels me to give you the target of around 4,000. If that trend line gets breached, then the next target for the stock would be somewhere around at least the level of 4,500 to even up to 4,800. So if you look at the weekly time frame of Gujarat Fluorochemical, you will see that it is a very strong stock, and it has come down to take support at the 100 EMA of the weekly time frame. And now it has started what can only be called a fresh leg of upside, and the weekly time frame suggests strong positivity. So for the long term, this is actually a great stock to hold on to. And if you hold on to the stock for the long term, then you should maintain a stop loss at the level of 3,320. Now let's move on to I don't know what stock this is, but let's take a look. Fresh entry. Sorry, I really don't feel comfortable commenting on the stock. I've never heard the name. I've never seen the chart. I don't even know what this company is about. So we're gonna pass on this. For Niharika, we'll take a look at Hindalco. I am also feeling quite bullish um about the metal sector, and I think Hindalco is one of the beneficiaries of that view. I think a very strong rally has been unfolding in Hindalco, especially since 30th of October, and since the beginning of this year, the stock has taken a little bit of correction, but now I have reasons to believe that the correction is pretty much over, and we are seeing the beginning of a fresh leg of uptrend. So from this point onward, I would suggest you maintain a stop loss at the level of 555 for a target of 725 in Hindalco. All right, let's take a look at another comment. Lemon Tree. All right, Lemon Tree costs 135. Lemon Tree cost 135. All right, let's go. Okay. What I'm seeing is the rally has lost quite a bit of steam, and I am not bullish on the stock anymore. So my recommendation to you would be you can either exit if you bought it for the short term, or if you, for whatever reason if you have conviction on the stock, then you should definitely maintain 135 as your stop loss and then continue to hold the stock. Okay, let's see. Okay. So let's look at Zomato for Mr. Vijay Pratap Singh. He's entered at 138. Zomato. I don't think Zomato has much juice here. This rally has been really good, but what I'm seeing across multiple different time frames is that Zomato is experiencing some trend exhaustion. So right now, based on this observation, wholly and solely based on technical analysis, I don't think it's a good idea to continue to hold. I would suggest you use the stop loss at 126 for the stock. If I were you, I would be exiting the stock immediately and allocating my money in chemical, pharmaceutical, or maybe even metal sector right now. Kanika has bought an MDC at 63. She's asking for my view. So NMDC, again, very strong rallies up unfolding. Now, the thing with NMDC is that it has a tendency of giving strong rallies, but it also has a tendency of giving strong corrections. And now what we are seeing is that major part of the rally is already left behind, and the stock uh, major part has been left behind, sure, but even up to the last leg of the rally, there was good volume participation. And now the stock took a little bit of correction, but even as the stock starts to come out of the correction and starts to go upside, the volume has returned, which is a good sign. So for your NMDC position, I would recommend that you maintain a stop loss of 200 and you continue to hold the stock. You ride the trend. So because NMDC, okay, wait, hold on. Okay, NMDC steel. Yeah, that's what I said. I think I'm making a mistake because you said your cost price is 63. All right, so NMDC steel also looks really strong. 63. So, okay, you bought it literally like today. Keep holding. It looks like a very strong rally is unfolding here. Just please be sure to maintain stop loss at your cost price only. The momentum is strong, the volume is strong, so I don't see why the stock would decline anytime soon. I would expect this extremely fast momentum to continue in the market in this specific stock. But for anybody else thinking whether they should buy fresh or not, I would say no, you should not buy the stock fresh, because when you buy stocks after the rally, you compromise on your risk reward ratio, which is bad discipline. And even though it may give you good profits in one or two stocks, that is not a habit that you want to cultivate, because when you cultivate bad habits in the market, you stand to lose in the long term. Infibeam. All right, let's see. Today, apparently, it's hit a upper circuit. So it has hit an upper circuit and it is showing really strong volumes. And let's see, it's a commercial services. It looks like the beginning of something very strong, and it can also continue. It has overcome a major resistance here, is what I am seeing. And I would expect a pretty hefty target of 50 rupees on the stock from the current levels itself. Let's see if we can change the trajectories of the trend line here. And if we did, would we be doing justice? Does it feel intuitive? It kind of does. So let's just delete these trend lines because the primary trend direction has changed clearly. So we need to respect that. But you will see in this chart, it must be clear to you that Infibeam is again very, very, very cyclical, insanely cyclical. So, for a stock to go up like multi-bagger up, but then also come down like 50 to 80%, you need to be very careful. You need to make sure that you're on top of its quarterly earnings. And if technically it becomes weak, you should definitely exit and always trail your position with stop losses in this stock. All right, let's see. We still have around 20 minutes, 25 minutes actually, until the next part of today's live session begins. So let's continue to resolve your queries. Let's take a look at Sarveshwar Food. Okay. Volume has been really strong. Let's draw some trend lines. So I know a technical analyst who's been quite big on microcap investing on the basis of technical analysis, and he's done really well for himself. The last time I spoke to him, he had sold one of his technical purchases. I mean, of course, he also covers fundamentals. I mean, he has a friend who covers fundamentals. He looks at technicals, but they had sold one of their microcap stock purchases and bought a house. And this was around the time he got married, and I was really happy for him. So microcap investing has immense amount of potential, even though, alongside the immense amount of dangers. So the session that we have starting at 6 p.m. with Ayush Agrawal is going to tell you a lot about what you should look out for when it comes to picking stocks in the microcap sector. And you must have heard that in the market, if you want to find 100 baggers, it is possible mostly only in the microcap sector. So while the upside is absolutely magnificent, there is also downside, which can be, say 100% of your capital goes away. Microcap stocks, most of them get delisted. Okay, they'll correct entirely, get delisted, and that'll be the end of the story. But if you're somebody who can afford to invest in such high risk stocks, then there are some things that you need to be careful about. If you want to know more about that, then again, stay tuned for the second phase of this session at 6 p.m. on my YouTube channel. I have dropped the link in the comment. Now, coming back to Sarveshwar, I've been analyzing while I've been chatting with you. What I see is this up leg over here has unfolded against really strong volumes. This indicates to me that the stock has good steam left. However, if you also see this leg, this consolidation, I see this consolidation has happened against really thin volumes. So if you're holding the stock already, then that is great. Keep holding. But if you want to make fresh entry, then for fresh entry, it's not a great time to enter the stock. What I can recommend to you is you wait for the stock to either create a new high. So if the stock breaks above the level of 7.6, then you purchase, or otherwise you wait for the stock to come back to around 6.15 and then you enter the stock. Don't do anything right now. And if you're holding the stock, then you should invariably maintain the stop loss at 5.4. Okay, let's move on. So we've already answered for Kanika, and let's answer for Monty. REWM. I'm not sure if I can analyze this stock. I don't know what this is. REWM, are you sure? Oh, RSWM. Let's draw the maiden trend line right there. And let's try to clone that line up there. fits pretty perfectly, doesn't it? It even I've been using this cloning method for like more than a year now. It makes me really feel a little stunned every time I draw a maiden trend line and then clone it, and it goes to like the absolute other side of the uh the points that have joined and fits right in like a jigsaw puzzle piece. It just feels amazing. So okay, strong rally with strong volumes up to this point. See, sometimes, the trend that is unfolding in a stock may not become very evident or clear on the daily time frame, 75-minute time frame. Sometimes it's just more prominent on the monthly or the weekly time frame. And that is exactly what I'm seeing in this stock also. If you look at the weekly and the monthly time frame, the trend or the movements become way more clearer. But if we go to the 75 or the daily time frame, it just looks like a lot of noise. There's no direction per se. But when you look at the monthly time frame, you clearly see that boss, the stock has already started a fresh leg of uptrend where it went 8x in 700 days. I mean, massive. And then this massive rally is what has corrected. In fact, you can also go ahead and draw the Fibonacci on this, and you will see that the stock has taken support exactly at the 38.2% and then started to go up again. So coming down to the weekly time frame, what we see here is the stock took support at this line, which is the 800 EMA of the monthly weekly time frame, which is basically equal to 200 EMA of the monthly time frame, right? So it almost took support there, made this doji candle, and then started to go up. Now the stock has sustained above the 200 EMA, sustained above the 20 EMA, 100 EMA, 50 EMA of the weekly time frame, and is starting to go up. So if you want to make a fresh entry in the stock, it is absolutely okay to do that. I would just recommend you to please maintain your stop loss at 22% from here. And if you buy the stock, make sure that you're buying the stock for a long-term horizon of at least 4-5 years. Okay, Ravinder ji, hello to you too. All right. Let's look at the next comment. Okay, let's take a look at TVS Motors. Again, very, very, very strong rally is unfolding on TVS Motors. I'm going to delete this abomination. And here we're going to clone this, and that looks pretty good. I think this stock is I have a little bit of concern with respect to TVS Motor, and I was basically seeing that the volume was declining, but now what I see is the volume is actually starting to pick up again, and that is right at the 200 EMA of the 75-minute time frame. So the 15-minute time frame does not look bearish per se. The 75-minute time frame did give a negative divergence, but it's a negative divergence within a bull trend. And a small correction also happened, but I think overall the trend is extremely strong in TVS Motor, and I would expect this rally to continue on the upside. So if you asked TVS Motor for 1960, right? That's literally the CMP. I think TVS Motor looks pretty good. So if you want to go forward with it, go forward with it for sure. Not an issue. I'm going to draw a vertical trend line and just set a quick alert, because when the market opens, I would like to take another look at TVS Motor. Let's just move this here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And okay. HBL Power for the long term. So this is one of the reasons that I really enjoy solving queries for the audience members, because through your queries, I actually get to know about a lot of new stocks which I otherwise wouldn't even have analyzed. Now, for instance, wow, HBL Power System, interesting. I see a strong price rally, but where's the volume? Where is the volume? I don't know. I mean, there is some volume picking up on the upside, which is good, but kind of don't want to trust this. But since September 23, that's in 135 days, the stock's also gone like 100%, which is incredible. That is the tweet from Mr. Ayush Agrawal, who will be joining us for the live session at 6 p.m. So again, if you wish to be a part of this session and ask your microcap stock queries or just learn a little bit about microcaps, be sure to join this session on YouTube. So I'm a little confused about the stock. I wouldn't recommend a fresh entry here. There's something that I don't trust about the charts. For Pratham, let's take a look at Glenmark. See, as an analyst, it's not necessary that every single time, every single chart that I see, I am able to formulate an opinion. Sometimes it's just not possible to give an opinion because the charts may be giving mixed signals, or maybe things are unfolding in a way which has not been picked up by charts. Even though the basis of technical analysis, at the core of technical analysis, the core belief is that the prices factors every single information that is to know about a stock out there, yet it is absolutely not necessary that even an experienced technical analyst looking at the charts will be able to formulate an opinion about a stock at all points of time. So I personally, if I come across stocks where I am unable to formulate an objective opinion, then I don't force myself. I don't force the analysis. So Glenmark, all right, interesting. Let's see what's happening in Glenmark. So a very strong rally unfolded here in this stock, and then we are seeing another leg of uptrend that is unfolding here. But my problem with this uptrend is that I don't see a lot of volumes. So even though I said that I am kind of bullish on the pharma sector, this stock would not be my choice because of two primary reasons on the daily time frame that I can observe. Number one, the volume suggests that the stock has already topped out back in September 23, and this next leg of rally that is unfolded is very, very phony in nature, which means that even though the price has gone up, the volume participation is not there. So I would not trust this last leg of rally, and even the 75-minute time frame is now giving negative divergence. And if we look at the 15-minute time frame, we can see that a kind of a dare I call it a triple top, I don't know, a resistance zone at the level of 916 has formulated. So I don't trust Glenmark and its chart. In fact, if this were a long position in my portfolio, I would have exited it by now. All right, let's take a couple more queries and then we're gonna go off for me. We'll go off for maybe 5-6 minutes and we'll come back with Mr. Ayush Agrawal with us. Let's take a look at Lalpat Labs. So if you are enjoying this live stream and if you feel like I have added value to you, please don't forget to give a thumbs up to this live stream, and leave a kind comment. It would absolutely make my day. Also, like I said, there is a phase 2 to this live stream, so don't go away anywhere. Wait for us to come back, and in the meanwhile, do share this link of the YouTube session that is going on with your friends, and if they are investors in the stock market, invite them to the session as well. Lalpat Lab, I think, is looking very interesting. So when I said that I am feeling bullish on potential potentially pharma or healthcare stocks, Lalpat Lab is one of the stocks where I am feeling bullish. So if we look at the weekly time frame, what I think is that a bull trend had started in the stock here, and this bull trend is what is basically in correction right now. I also believe that this 200 EMA on the daily time frame, if you can see here, this blue line is lending support to the prices, this blue line, and I am bullish on the stock. I would maintain a stop loss at the level of 2350, and bet that the stock is going to reverse and rally, because one of the main reasons is also that this downside that has started or unfolded after 22nd of December hasn't seen any volume participation. In fact, this little bit of upside that happened, that saw a lot of positive volume participation. Also, a big RSI positive divergence has been unfolding, which basically suggests that there is still steam left in the stock. It's just waiting to build up and blow up eventually. Also, if you look at the daily time frame, time and again, the stock has given a strong rally from the 200 EMA of the daily chart. That is exactly where the stock is hovering right now also. So if you want to do a comparative analysis, just compare the similarity between this section and this section on daily 75 and 15-minute time frame, and you will learn a lot. Okay, so now I will turn off the screen. Let me first. Okay, so now I will turn off the screen. I will go on board Mr. Ayush Agrawal, and we will see you again in 5 minutes on the YouTube channel. So if you wish to continue in part 2 of this session, don't forget to join us on YouTube. I am dropping the link in the comment for you right now. All right, so with that, to all the people who joined us on the ET platform, thank you so much for giving us your time, and we will see you on YouTube if you choose to join us for the second phase of this live session. And also, if you wish to connect with me or take my help with respect to your portfolio, short-term recommendation, long-term recommendations, you can do that. You can connect with me by joining my Telegram channel, Trade with Kavita. I am dropping the link to my Telegram channel as well in the comments for you to see. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you in my YouTube channel again in 5 minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the session. We have with us Mr. Ayush Agrawal today, and he is a microcap expert. So, Ayush, welcome to the session, and thank you so much for taking time to talk to our audience members. Um, Before we begin, would you be so kind to give everybody a quick introduction so that we know everybody knows here whom we are talking to? Hey Ayush, can you hear me? Oh, it looks like Ayush is probably not able to hear my voice because I am able to hear his voice. Let's see. We didn't have this issue when we did the testing, so give me a moment. Okay. Can you hear me, Ayush? Okay. Okay, so after a little bit of a technical glitch, we are back live with Ayush Agrawal. So, like we were saying, Ayush, can you please give the audience members a brief introduction of yourself so that they know whom we are talking to? And then we can move forward with our discussion today.
Yeah, sure. So I am Ayush. I am basically a SEBI registered RA, and I got my registration in September 2023. And I have a degree in post graduation from SP Mumbai. I started in the markets around 10 years back. I've been managing my family's funds for around 10 years before I took my license. So I wanted to be at a certain CAGR of over a decade before I could actually manage public money. And now my primary focus has over the years shifted to SME and microcap space. And I now, through the research desk that I have, try to provide a perspective on this space because a lot of people don't like this space. I will not say, but a lot is not written on this space. And I try to analyze companies that are under researched, have promoter vision, and are at a nascent stage but still not available at that high a premium. So that is more or less about me.
So, Ayush, how did you get started into microcap investing, or was it something that you picked up from day one?
So I got started into microcap investing somewhere around three or 2.5 years ago. So I met a few people. I was very lucky to meet a few people, and I would not want to name them in
That's
this
fine.
conversation now. I don't like naming my mentors, but I was very lucky to meet a few people. The first person, he actually taught me how to view and interpret exchange filings. So before that,
Exchange filings.
I was actually not, yes, exchange filings. So before this, I was actually not looking at exchange filings in any of my investments. So I did not look at quarterly results. I did not look at, you can say, the filings that come out on a daily basis. I didn't look at all those things. I was basically like, what are the good stocks out there? I didn't even look at PE or anything.
So what was it
Then
that you were looking at?
what
Technicals?
happened? I was, to be very frank, looking at things that, you know, common sense investing, you can call it. Uh, your Nestle's, Pidilites, HDFC Bank, things that were actually used in my
Very
home.
intuitive, I would say.
So yeah, my journey has actually been a very very funny journey in the markets. So it has been a journey from a person who used to invest in mutual funds, then invested in large caps, then invested in basically these small caps, and then came to the micro caps
So you started
and
from
the SME
Nestle
segment.
and then you
So
came to microcaps. That's amazing. That's very intriguing. One question, you said that the first mentor taught you how to take apart or get into filings, right? So how did that change your investing journey, in the sense the time it took for you to make the decision to invest in one stock, now that you were taking a more systematic approach versus before when you were doing a more intuitive investing?
So, yes, you're right in that. That earlier the investing was totally intuitive, and I was not looking at a lot of models, a lot of projections, a lot of filings, but still I was lucky enough to make some returns. And then what happened was that when I got to the part where I started to look at the filings, I got to the part where I started to look at the quarterly results, or SME in that case, the half yearly results. Things started to make sense. Like the prices are slave to what happens and what is, what comes out on the exchanges. So if something good is happening in a company, there will be leading indicators that will always be there in the exchange notifications. If a company is giving good results, more sooner than later, the prices would adjust and you would be getting good returns from that company. Then it all started to make sense to me. I was basically lucky to get returns over the past few, 10 years or so. Per actually, what happens in the market is that anyone and everyone who is seriously interested in investing, if you are not looking at the projections of the next 2 to 3 years, at least 2 to 3 years, the current state of the company, the intent of the promoter with the company, and the last, say, 8 to 12 months worth of filings, what the company has filed on the exchange, then you would not be in a good position to take any decision on any company. But if you can do at least these things, then you would be more or less knowing कि ठीक है ये कंपनी अच्छी है या ये कंपनी इतनी अच्छी नहीं है कि मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में आएगी. The company may be a good company, but the company is not that good that it should be in my portfolio.
Right. So, like, even so, I'm a predominantly a swing trader, right? Like, we are on two very separate sides of the spectrum when it comes to stock market participation. But then, this is something that even I tell my members that the market is always full of opportunities. Does not mean every single opportunity is worth your money, worth your capital, because at the end of the day, we have limited capital and we need to judge the best possible investment for our capital, for our limited capital. So that is the same thing that you're just saying, Ayush, right now. That even if you want to invest in stocks for long term, may it be large cap stocks, small cap stocks, or mid cap stocks, or even microcap stocks, you ultimately have to make sure that it's a good opportunity, not just an okay opportunity, or I'm not going to lose money, but also you're not going to make money. So you have to go for great opportunities there. And so in your process of looking for stocks, in the microcap sector specifically, let's talk about the microcap sector specifically. What would you say, Ayush, is different when you do these same steps, like the looking into the filings, looking at the projections next 2 3 years? What is different for the microcap stocks versus other stocks?
I would say everything is different. And that is why it interested me to have this conversation with someone who is into technicals and swings. Because if we specifically talk about SMEs and include a little bit of microcaps in that, so firstly, they lack coverage. Like nobody wants to touch SMEs. Everybody wants to invest and make money in SMEs very quickly, but nobody wants to touch SMEs. If you want to attach your name and if you want to attach your signature to it, nobody wants to touch SMEs. Secondly, SMEs usually, I'm not saying always, usually come with debt, significant debt and pledging. And then the best part is with that, they also come at a very high P, sometimes triple digit Ps. And apart from that, SMEs come in lot sizes. So you can't buy an SME with just one share. A micro cap, you can buy. A micro cap to 300 crore company, you can buy. But an SME, you cannot buy just one share of that company. And there is always a working capital inefficiency in that company. When you're looking at that company, you will find a working capital inefficiency in that company, and you will either find that the working capital days are very high, the cash conversion cycle is nothing compared to other listed peers in the mid cap and the large cap space, and basically the promoters, they may be raising funds because if they need to grow, they are a smaller company, so they want to take money from the markets. That is why they've listed in the first place. So they would have, very ambitious plans. They would come out with very ambitious plans, and they would say, okay, we'll do this. The growth will be this in 3 years. The PAT will be this. The sales will be this. The EPS projection is this, and they will be raising funds. And the stocks, they would have run up somewhere around 200-300% on some companies that you would say कि अभी तो stock इतना बढ़ गया है कि अब promoter इतने significant targets दे रहा है और उसके लिए पैसा उठा रहा है. So why should we invest in this promoter when the stock is already up? What if this is like a 2017 situation and the entire space comes crashing down? So this is, if you ask me कि क्या different होता है, so I would say everything is different. When you are looking at an SME and a microcap company, you have to leave, what I say, logic out of the door. You have to basically, what we have learned in DCF and reverse DCF and earnings-based valuations, we have to leave that out of the door. Even I learned that in FMBA, but I left that out of the door. So I basically now follow a model called as a business model. So that is a model that I follow for
Right.
basically, all the companies that I look at in the SME and the microcap space. So we'll touch up on that business model if basically there is some time. So the name of the model also, I have given it business. It's a very funny thing. So that is something that we do.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the name of the model. So let's recap also a little bit before we go to the next one, because I think you've unpacked a lot of information about microcap investing or SME investing. So let's also look at some of the comments. Someone's asking what is SME full form, and well, Amit ji has already answered, small and medium enterprises. So again, just to remind all the audience members, today's session entirely focuses on small, medium cap, and mostly micro cap sector stocks. Stocks that you barely ever hear about, stocks most of which I think, Ayush, how many microcap stocks do you think go get delisted? Like they don't even survive. Like what is the average survival period of this microcap stocks, would you say? 5 years, maybe? 5 to 8 years?
So let's just assume that anything which is less than say 500 crore is a microcap.
500 crore is a microcap, right? 500 crore market cap, right? Is a microcap.
Let's just assume.
Okay.
500 crore market cap is a microcap. So, as we are speaking, I ran a query on Screener. Screener is a platform by the Mittal brothers, Ayush Mittal and Pratyush Mittal. Most people are aware of that. There are over 2850 companies which are under 500 crores. And if I run a query which says that how many companies are overall listed in the market. So Screener is showing somewhere around 13 companies.
So more than half the companies listed are microcap companies on the stock market right now.
So indirectly the answer to your question is that majority of the wealth gets made in microcaps, yes, but more wealth than that is made gets also destroyed in the microcap space. So अगर कोई 1 लाख का 5 लाख वहां करता है तो ऐसे उस एक बंदे के लिए basically there will be 50 people who will come from 1 lakh rupees to 10,000 rupees.
Right. Right. So stock
So a
selection
lot of
becomes
wealth
very
is also
important in
destroyed.
microcap
But
investing.
yeah, very important.
Very important. Okay. So we have a very good question from one of the audience members where they have touched upon one of the topics that we also discussed, what you call pump and dump. There's a lot of manipulation in the microcap sector. So what are some of the red flags that, someone who is, not a DCF expert or someone who's not absolutely, great at breaking down the filings, what are some of the red flags that they could look out for and be wary of stocks where pump and dump might be happening?
So here I find it a very good time to insert my business model. So I'll talk about the business model here. So if I talk about it, I think more or less it may give a very clear indication of how someone can be wary of the red flags. Because if you know what to look for in a company, you would automatically know what to not look for in that company.
Correct. Inversion.
So
Correct.
basically, when you're looking at, yeah, if you're looking at a micro cap, so the first thing that you look at in a company is not their, the PE of the business or the market cap of the business or the lot size of the business. No, you don't look at those things. You actually go and you look at कि वो company करती क्या है, उस company का business क्या है. So basically the blueprint of operations. That is the P of the business model. Basically, वो company करती क्या है. Then you understand the management vision. So basically the U. Understanding the management vision is very important. Now, in 99% of the cases, you will not be able to do this because microcaps, they don't do earnings calls, they don't do the investor analyst meet. So you would have to go meet the management and go to the factory, but nobody wants to do it. People want to join WhatsApp groups. People want to see stocks that जिसके बारे में threads लिखे जाते हैं Twitter में. So they don't want to do the U. They don't want to go and meet the management and explore what is the intent of the management. क्या वहाँ एक्चुअली फैक्ट्री है या वहाँ पे किसी ने एक छोटा सा कमरा बना के वहाँ से कंपनी चला रहा है. Then the strengths and weaknesses of the business. So once you have done this work, once you have actually gone and once you have met a few people, once you have discussed with them, boss, what is the business of this particular company? What is your intent with taking this company forward? Then you are actually able to analyze. And this is common sense analysis. This is not analysis that a CFA does or a chartered accountant does. No disrespect to anybody, but this is common sense analysis that you are able to do. कि boss strength क्या है इस business का, weakness क्या है इस business का, और इसमें क्या opportunities और क्या threats हैं. Because आप जितना management से बात करते हो, like you are able to come up with what is the genuinity of what they are saying and how much of what they are saying is, utter bull. So वो आप बहुत clearly एक बार समझ सकते हो कि जितना आप बात करते हो, if you spend like 4-5 hours with them or if they don't let them meet you, और smaller companies में ऐसा बहुत मुश्किल होगा कि मैनेजमेंट नहीं मिलने देगा आपको. बड़ी कंपनीज में होता है कि आपको अगर किसी मैनेजमेंट से मिलना है तो आप उनके फैक्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस चले जाओ, तो दे विल नॉट लेट देम मीट यू. स्मॉलर कंपनीज में तो वैसे भी कोई उनके कंपनी में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है, वैसे भी कोई नहीं.
वो तो दे आर हैप्पी, वो तो खुश है कि कोई आया मिलने के लिए, इंटरेस्ट उठा रहा है. दैट इज ग्रेट. आई थिंक you also touched upon one more pointer at the beginning when you said कि small caps or rather micro cap stocks, you will see that if their business model is good, if it is appealing to you, by the time it comes even on your radar, in a very short period of time, there is a good chance the stock might have gone up 2-3x already. And then you might have the thought ki, why should I bet on the promoter now when the stock has already gone say 3x, because you might think that the stock has rallied so much. But then in micro caps, they have potential to rally a lot more because Is it right to say there is huge value unlocking there?
Uh, yes, the simple answer is yes. So I'll quickly cover up on the
The
business
model.
model, and then
Yes.
I will, and then what I do, because 3-4 points are left, and then I'll come up with a case study example
Perfect.
to answer this question of yours. So basically, the N is for the necessary catalyst, the E is for the number evaluation, and the S is basically sizing up the competitors. And basically, then the S is to put everything in 2 pages. If you cannot put everything, if you cannot summarize everything into 2 pages, then you do not know the full detail of that business. So this was about the business model. Now coming to the run-up that you have mentioned. So basically now I'll just touch upon one company because we had case studies that we would be taking up later on in the conversation, I thought. So there is a company called PNGS Gargi.
PNGS. Let me share the screen also. PNGS
PNGS
Gargi
Gargi.
Fashion. Got it. Okay, let's see if we can
Yeah.
have this
So
up.
it
Okay, awesome.
specializes. uh, So yeah, the company specializes in 92.5% certified sterling silver jewelry and brass jewelry, including idols and silverware. Now, the product range covers a broad spectrum from artificial jewelry for special occasions to wedding and festival jewelry. It's a very decent group. It's a very decent group. And by FY25, Gargi aims to reach a top line of 100 crores. And the company is expanding its retail presence and plans to inaugurate 8 new outlets in FY24. And they've already established you 8 locations. So basically, now if we see this company, why I mentioned this company, I actually gave a Diwali pick on PNGS Gargi in the month of November. Now I gave it at a level up in a matter of 3 months, somewhere around 115%.
Sorry, what
So
was your
I
level
could
at
say
which
that yeah,
you recommended the stock?
305.
Wow, that is amazing. So your voice briefly dropped, but
And this was, by the way, a free recommendation. This was a free recommendation. I had given it out to everyone on Twitter, everywhere. I had given out कि यार ये company और इसके साथ एक और दी थी. That company is also decently up, but for an example, I am taking this company. यार अब ये देखो, ये company यहाँ से ऊपर आके 115% एवरेज पे ऊपर आ गई है, 3 महीने में आ गई है. But does this mean that PNGS Gargi forever, the Gargi group forever, will remain at a certain level, या यहाँ से ये नीचे चला जाएगा, या ये कंपनी एक पम्प एंड अप कंपनी है? It doesn't. It's just run up. It's just run up. It may consolidate, but it doesn't change the fact that they are hoping for a top line of 100 crores in financial year 25. Now, if you go at the PNGS Gargi and basically if you see their TTM, it's at what? It's at 42 crores, 42, 43 crores. They are saying they'll come up with a top line of 100 crores. And I am saying it is very much possible given the fact that they were at 6 crores in March 22, at 28, 29 crores in March 23, and the TTM itself right now is 42 crores.
oh wow.
So all this is public data. ये सब स्क्रीनर पे दिया हुआ है, मतलब कुछ ऐसा नहीं है जो पब्लिक डेटा नहीं है. And by the way, PNGS Gargi, I mentioned this. Please note, this is, guys, for illustrative purpose only. It is not recommendatory in nature. I had given clear disclosures at the time when I mentioned this on Twitter. And please take your own call. Consult a financial advisor. No, I have to say this on the YT live now. Otherwise, a lot of people may just do a blind buy on Gargi. So please do your own research before taking
Ayush,
a call.
what Ayush is saying, everybody, like obviously what I say to on the live sessions, that acting on the recommendation of the stocks that are being discussed and buying it in your portfolio is going to hurt you, and how it's going to hurt you will tell you. So we are analysts, we look at stuff, we analyze things, and when we give a recommendation to our members, there is also a follow up on that. So when you don't connect with us, see, if you want to connect with Ayush, you're more than welcome to follow him on Twitter, and you can, through Twitter also, you can connect with him one on one. And if you want to do detailed microcap investing, it's better to do it with his help rather than by indirectly, because tomorrow if there is an update, if some new development comes because of which the horizon or the opinion on this changes, you will not be privy to that opinion. And it is highly possible that even if he's shared some opinion publicly, the reason why we always give this disclaimer that this is not a recommendation is because we know we will not be able to follow up that particular freely given opinion with an update. A lot of times we forget. You have to be part of the workflow if you want to do things systematically. And if you want to invest, especially in microcap stocks, in the stock market in general, it's so risky that having the system is very, very important. So if you feel inspired to invest in microcap stocks, then buying stocks which are being discussed as a case study here is not a good idea. Instead, you can follow Ayush on Twitter and get his opinion through that. Is that right, Ayush?
It's right. I just like to add one thing, or rather correct one thing which you said, that if you want to do microcap investing, you can come through me. So I would clearly like to mention that, see, this is a YT live wherein we are doing this just so we can talk, explore the theme and educate people. आप मेरे पास मत आओ, मार्केट में बहुत लोग बैठे हुए हैं. I am actually doing this so we can explore the theme a little, and we can actually talk on the topic for around 1 hour or so. So people get a lot of value creation. So don't, take this as me trying to, get you guys to subscribe to me. I am very happy with my subscribers. Basically, just take some important aspects from the conversation. If you want to do microcap investing, whatever we are discussing today, just take some important aspects from this conversation. If they can help you in becoming a better investor, if they can help you in basically minimizing your losses, if they can help you getting some better returns, that is more important. You don't have to subscribe to me. You don't have to subscribe to any X or Y person to become a better investor. If you can basically get better at what you are already doing, then that should be more or less enough for you to, get good value for yourself, create good value for yourself.
Yeah. Moving on, should we take up another stock, or do you have more pointers that you'd like to discuss about PNG's Gargi? Because I'm also taking a quick look at the charts here, and what I can see is the stocks, even the volume activity I see has been consistently increasing. So when it comes to your own investing process, Ayush, is trading volume something that you pay attention to, considering, microcap stocks, thin volumes? But do you look at maybe the trend of participation also there, or maybe institutions taking up positions in stocks of your interest?
In SMEs, I don't do this, but apart from SMEs, I have like 4 or 5 things I look at, and they are like very general things. They are not things which are very complicated, or you need to be a rocket scientist to look at those things. The first thing is something which I have created known as an AXI, the Ayush Agrawal Exit Indicator. It's available for free on my TradingView profile. So it is nothing but a moving average. So on the weekly chart, I track between the 21 and 31 period moving average on the weekly chart. And I see firstly if a stock is below that or if the stock is above that.
All right. So
Then
hold on,
I
hold on,
see
hold
if
on.
the RSI
Let me
of
go
the
back to the
particular
weekly
stock.
chart and let me put this indicator. What did you say it is called?
Axie, I'll have to share the link with you. The Axie is only available on my profile, though it is free. So I'll have to go to my trading view profile. Just give me a second. I'll share the indicator with you, so you can even share in the chat if you want.
Yeah, that is actually a good idea.
Just a second.
If you can just yeah, paste it on my WhatsApp,
I
then
mean,
I can.
people actually even sell indicators. Like
I know, yeah,
I'll
exactly.
do it. People even sell indicators. So मैंने जब ये indicator बना, so some people were like, यार ये कितने में आप दे रहे हो? And I was like, कि कितने में क्या दे रहे हो? तो free है. So it was very funny. So
I mean, what doesn't
I
sell,
have shared
right?
it via WhatsApp.
Oh, you have? Okay, let's just wait for it to pop up.
नहीं नहीं एक second हाँ अभी गया है message अभी
Okay, great. I have received it. So Ayush Agrawal exit indicator is what you said. Okay, so I have it open here, and okay, let's see, moving average trend. So this is an exit indicator that you've created. But you said I won't be able to apply this in general. It's not published most likely.
Apply to anywhere. No, it is published. Clicking this, you can basically then apply it to anywhere. The indicator, the indicator. Once the indicator I have shared it with you.
Yeah.
Clicking this indicator, you can basically mark it as a favorite. You can mark it as a favorite, and then you can just in your favorites go and you can apply it anywhere.
Oh, let me try.
So I normally
open this indicator on my trading view where I have logged in, and I need to mark this as a favorite is what you're saying. So okay, so I guess let me just give it like 2 minutes, and if I'm not able to figure this science out, then we'll just go back to the discussion.
No, I'll even share a screenshot with you. I'll even share a screenshot with you of where you can mark this as favorite. So basically, there is this thing.
While you share that, I will
add to favorite indicators.
All right. So I am sharing this.
Once you click on the link, there is a blue button. There is a blue button, add to favorite indicators. For anybody who wants to.
Oh, it's right at the bottom. So guys, the link that I have shared with you, this link I have shared with you in the chat, you can open it and you can scroll down and you can add it to your favorite indicator. So this is my TradingView profile. Now I'm going to go back to my TradingView profile and I will see whether it got added or not. So go to weekly indicators and I do not see it as added. Why did it not get added?
नहीं अभी favorite में दिख जाएगा.
Okay.
अभी favorite में दिख जाएगा. If you add it to favorite indicators दिख जाना चाहिए.
Let me restart my trading view. This is the last attempt. And let's click on indicator. This sounds really interesting. I mean, an indicator which you've created, which helps you study or which gives you the exit indication, because exit is something, oh yes, we see it. So I'm going to go on the weekly time frame is where you want me to apply it, right?
See, I was a guy who the best of the best teachers refused to teach. And then because they were like, read. Then I met people who told me, no, you don't read. You meet. And then in the process of meeting,
yeah,
I actually got to read and read. So today I read up to 1,500 filings every day.
every
in
day?
all the filings that come out, even every day. It's been a habit now for more than 2 years. So I read every filing, I go
Wow.
through every result, see every transcript, everything that comes out, I read it. And if anything I find interesting, I put it in a Google Drive. Then I go through it at night. तभी लोग पूछते हैं कि 5-6 बजे तक जगते हो, क्या करते हो? मैं वही करता हूँ, जो मेरे को अच्छा लगता है वो मैं एक ड्राइव में डाल के रात में फिर पढ़ता हूँ, और मेरे को फिर जो बहुत अच्छा लगता है मैं उसको एक डायरी में लिख देता हूँ, और फिर मैं सारी चीजें उस ड्राइव से डिलीट करता हूँ, और वो प्रोसेस रोज चलती है.
So what you basically keep doing, Ayush, is you collect a lot of data and then you keep condensing until it, that's what you're basically doing. You're condensing the data constantly. All right. So I have the Ayush indicator, or Ayush Agrawal exit indicator, right? AXI, on the chart. So what do you do with it? I see it has a setting of SMA 31. So is this something special about this 31
So
SMA?
I put it at 27. You can't put it below 21. मैंने उसमें setting करके रखा है.
Right.
मैं इसको 27 कर देता हूँ.
Okay. So I'm on the daily time frame and I'm applying it at 27 on the PNGS Gargi fashion. So what
नहीं, आप weekly पे जाओ.
weekly पे?
आप weekly पे
Okay.
27 पे जाओ. और वो SME और माइक्रो कैप में अप्लाई नहीं करता है इंडिकेटर, पर उसको छोड़ के एनी स्टॉक अंडर द सन, you just see that as a case study. You just see that indicator as a case study. It is like, I would not want to comment on that. It's actually, in a way, very in a gray area कि इतना परफेक्ट इंडिकेटर कैसे हो गया, पर वो बन गया मेरे से. मैं भी बना रहा था तो मुझे आइडिया नहीं था कि बन जाएगा, पर वो मैं 27 में माइक्रो कैप और एसएमई छोड़ के, आप वीकली चार्ट पे कुछ भी देखो तो यू विल बी वेरी सरप्राइज्ड. पर उसके साथ आई ऐड 3 more things. I add the ADX, I add the RSI, and I add the relative strength over Nifty.
Wow. So relative strength
these
over
3
Nifty.
things.
That is very interesting. All right. So for the relative strength over Nifty.
Relative strength over Nifty.
Yeah. So for the
I
relative.
add this just to see if the stock is outperforming.
Yeah. 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 It helps you see.
उसको सिर्फ ऐड कर.
Do you have an index for that as well?
उसमें तो custom built indicators already हैं. TradingView already has those indicators. So there is an modulus का एक indicator है, RSI का. Basically relative strength का, तो उसमें you can put the index. वो उसमें SPY की जगह you can put Nifty as the index for tracking. And
Right.
I just do it to see whether or not the stock is outperforming the benchmark index. That is all the utility of that indicator is. I don't see if it is above the zero line, if it is below the zero line. That is not for me. I see whether the stock is performing or not performing the index or not. Then RSI, I see if it is above 55 or below 55. If it is above 55, but not above 60.
Yeah.
Or rather, between this very sweet level of 55 and 60, then actually this gives me a very good, confidence that the company is right now at a zone wherein people are interested, and we just have to wait for momentum. And then the ADX tells me the momentum, because whenever the then ADX goes on a weekly chart above 35, which is very, very rare. You being a technical analyst, you may know कि weekly chart पे 35 पे के ऊपर जाना is something which is going to be very rare.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is something which I look at. And then just the last layer of confidence is basically that X. So this is all I look in technical analysis. Technical analysis, I don't look for much. Yes, there are patterns, base breakout is there, then multi-year breakout is there, but that is all like common sense. तो सब
Right. I agree with you.
सब देखते हैं.
Correct. So wait. So from what I'm understanding is, okay, what is the first point? So when you pick up, so what is the first thing that takes you to a micro cap stock? Is it the filings? Is it going through the filing where a good microcap stock potentially catches your eye for the first time? Or is it, I'm sure it's not technical analysis, or is it, scuttlebutt or grapevine, or what is it?
So you will actually, basically make fun of me for saying this, but I find good time when there are bad times for a company. So when a lot of good news is there in a particular company, I tend to ignore those things. But when a company is trading at a very high PE, there is, inefficiency in working capital. The company is pledged. The company is having high debt, and everyone is saying कि यहाँ से तो निपट गई company. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a very good example. We'll again talk of the example and you'll enjoy. So there is a company called Jai Jalaram. Now, Jai Jalaram was the second Diwali pick that I had given in November. It was in conjunction with PNG's Gargi. I had given it at a level of around 310.
Hold on. Let me, Jai Jalaram Technologies, Techno. Yeah, is it symbol KORE core?
It's Core.
Okay.
Yeah, Core Mobile.
Right.
Now, Jai Jalaram is a multi-brand retailer for consumer durable electronics like smart TVs, air conditioner, fridges, coolers, laptops, and they have agreements with TCL, Haier, Voltas, Apple, Realme. Not
all the top players.
Retail all these things. Yeah, and now the company is they were opening a lot of stores. It was all there in the exchange. It is still all there in the exchange, and they started immediately bolstering. Social media में उनने बहुत ज़्यादा leverage किया है. वो social media में बिल्कुल नहीं थे. Then they started to do a lot of social media. Now, I, being a person from a tier 3 city, I never purchased a mobile online. Very surprising to most of the people in your podcast. In the YouTube live, I never purchase a mobile online. I always go to, a Samsung shop or an Apple shop, and I know that person. I ask for an additional 1,000 rupees or 500 or 700 rupees discount, and that person gives me because उसको भी अपना customer रखना है.
Right.
I थॉट कि यार ये बंदा है, ये बंदा मुझे सेल्स बनने की कोशिश कर रहा है, एंड ये छोटी छोटी जगहों पे शॉप्स खोल रहा है. सो व्हाई डोंट वी bet on that, because not everyone is going to buy from Amazon and Flipkart and all these online stores. Yes, people will buy, but that is basically the top 15 cities in India.
But not in the small cities. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Don't make up the chunk of the mobile market. So this is what I bet on. So as of 2nd November 2023, that's again 3 months, approximately 3 months. So it's up around about 35%.
Yeah. Yep.
And it still trades at a PE of somewhere around 210.
Right. I, as a swing trader, when I'm looking
Now,
at this stock,
if you look at this company,
yeah, it shows opportunities. But please go on.
No, please first, what were you saying? आप continue करो, then मैं आपको बताऊंगा interesting thing about the fact. I'll tell something interesting about the P and valuation of the company. So first, you were saying something, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was saying that as a swing trader now, when I'm looking at the stock, KORE or Jalaram Technologies, it looks very interesting. However, I mean, obviously for swing trading, I wouldn't touch it because, you know, the volume is like very patchy there. But on the daily time frame, this stock is looking very promising because you know it's giving such nice swings, it's taking support at the right EMAs. It's just that the continuity in the price is not there. So I usually don't look at stocks below a certain market cap because obviously if you're doing active trading, you know, you want a lot of volume in the stocks, right? But this is looking very attractive even for that. If you can somehow overcome the volume, lack of participation or lack of volume here. So that's just a side note. Anyways, please continue, Ayush.
No, so this is actually like I was just saying कि अब ये कंपनी 200 के पीई पे है. कुछ लोग थे जिनको ये कंपनी 3 महीने पहले भी अच्छी नहीं लगती थी. कुछ लोग हैं जिनको ये कंपनी आज अच्छी नहीं लगती है. कुछ लोग हैं जिनको ये कंपनी आज से 3 महीने बाद भी अच्छी नहीं लगेगी, आज से 6 महीने बाद भी अच्छी नहीं लगेगी. बट आई वुड नॉट be surprised if something good happens in the company. I would not be surprised. Why? Because I did not do a DCF or a reverse DCF. I followed the business model. I followed my business model wherein I
Pure
checked
logic.
the intent of the promoter. I saw what was happening in the business. मैंने देखा कि यार इसके कॉम्पिटिटर्स कौन है. मैंने ये देखा कि ये अगर कंपनी है तो ये कंपनी में क्या कैटलिस्ट है, क्या 5G इज अ कैटलिस्ट, क्या वर्क फ्रॉम होम इज अ कैटलिस्ट. मैंने इसकी इमीडिएट अपॉर्चुनिटीज और थ्रेट्स देखे. मैंने टोटल एड्रेसेबल मार्केट को साइज किया और फिर मैंने देखा ऑनलाइन कितना जाता है. जो ऑफलाइन जाता है, अगर आज ऑफलाइन में कुछ परसेंटेज भी इनके पास आता है, विच इज अ वेरी प्रूडेंट परसेंटेज, तब भी ये कंपनी कितना ले सकती है उसका. And then I put everything on one page and I was happy with the results I got. So I was like कि ठीक है यार, ये अभी भी सरवाइव कर जाएगी कंपनी. अगर इनको इतना भी आ जाता है तो ये सरवाइव कर जाएगी. तो I didn't do a DCF or a reverse DCF for this company. People
Right.
do DCF, reverse DCF. That is a very good practice. I'm not saying not to do. I'm not against that practice. But for me personally, I don't do it for SMEs and microcaps because I know that can turn out to be wrong,
Right.
or inefficient in case of these companies.
Right. Right.
So I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example, and this is a company called SAR Televentures.
Mm-hmm.
So SAR Televentures listed in November 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So
Televentures, let's
if
see.
you could just figure out,
Mm-hmm.
if you could figure out or rather ask question to the people who are there in the chat, कि SAR Televentures, what was the market cap of the company when it listed at in November 2023?
Oh, how would our members know that? Does anybody in the audience have any idea about what the microcap of the
Trust me,
stock
if
was?
they are here to no, the market cap, if they are like micro cap and SEBI investors, you will get a answer from someone for what was the market cap post listing of the company. So you'll get an answer. Just let us try. इतना पूछते हैं वो लोग भी बोर हो रहे होंगे हम लोग को समझे.
All right, members, we have a question for you. Do you know or can you find out and tell us in the comments what the microcap of this stock, Star Tele or Star Tele Ventures Limited, the market cap was when it listed back in November 2023? All right, so while we wait for some response to come in from our members, Ayush, what is so special about Star Televentures Limited?
So there is a company called SAR Televentures Limited. So the company listed at a certain market cap. Today it is at a certain market cap.
And I can
And
see it has rallied already
then
2x in 78 days approximately since it got listed.
yeah, so basically, if I tell you, the IPO was 25 crores.
Wow, that's the
They are
smallest
at
IPO I have
450
ever heard
crores
of.
right now, and yeah, and they are doing a fundraise of 400 crores.
Wow, Dharmraj has
They are
actually
terming it
responded that.
as something different. They are terming it as something different, but they are actually doing a fundraise of 400 crores. उन्होंने उस चीज को बहुत अलग नाम देके बहुत अलग तरीके से किया हुआ है, and the people who are reading between the filings are knowing this, but
Wow.
अब वो 25 करोड़ की कंपनी आज 1000 करोड़ की कंपनी बन गई है. And why I wanted to bring up this example is specifically for the fact that people talk a lot, and when they say कि यार कोई कंपनी बहुत रन अप कर गई है, यहाँ से वो कंपनी खत्म है, तो क्या हम आज स्टैम्प पेपर में ये लिख के दे सकते हैं कि आज ये 1000 करोड़ की कंपनी बन गई, 25 करोड़ की कंपनी, और 3 महीने में बन गई, बाय द वे 3 महीने में, ठीक है. बिकॉज फंड रेज तो कर रहे हैं, तो अब और 400-500 करोड़ का फंड रेज अब जितना भी हो रहा है, I don't know. I'll have to read the filings. I don't read the filings that regularly. But क्या ये जो fundraise हो रहा है, इसके बाद the company is finished. We can't. So we have to put logic out the door when we are analyzing SMEs. We have to go with a very different mindset. We have to, we cannot, go and we can say कि yeah, we'll apply a certain valuation framework, and we will do this, we will do this. We can't do this unless and until we know the business, we know the promoter, we know his intent, we know actually what the promoter wants to do with the business.
Correct.
We will never be able to judge a company.
Honestly, Ayush, that level of certainties, I think we can't work with that level of certainty even when it comes to large cap investing or even mutual fund investing for that matter. Like when I do swing trading, even if there is a very clear cut rules that okay, if RSI came to this volume ऐसा दिख रहा है, EMA इतना आ गया, ये सपोर्ट मिल गया, ये टाइम फ्रेम पे वो हो गया, उसके बाद भी सर्टनिटी तो दे ही नहीं सकते. सो माइक्रो कैप में तो आई थिंक द लेवल ऑफ अनसर्टेनिटी इज लाइक 100x मोर देयर, बिकॉज even if a promoter is talented, even if a business is really good, there is so much more that can go against a micro cap company in terms of, when the economy tumbles. I'm sure the micro cap companies must be the ones that probably suffer the most, because they might not find capital, they might not have the muscle, the capital muscle to just overcome a bad stretch of, bad economy. So that is an added layer of risk that is also involved in micro cap investing. But I think today's discussion has been really enriching for our members. At least I got to learn a lot of things. I've always been personally very scared of investing in micro cap stocks, but now having heard you talk about the more logical aspect of going into micro cap investing, which is, you also used a little scary terms like DCF and reverse DCF, which I have done in the past, which I know how to do, but I don't do anymore because, there's just so many assumptions that go into it that for me, the model that builds out, it is at the end of the day as good as storytelling. Who's to say what's right, what's wrong? But then again, in the micro cap investing, what you basically said is the human element is very important. What is the promoter doing, saying, who is he, what is his ambition for the company, and what is the business model, most importantly, matters a lot. And the best way to come across or understand all of these things is by reading the filings or reading what the management is saying, or if you have conviction, might even take the next step, go and meet the management, because they'll be more than happy to meet you. Low demand there, so they'll actually sit and talk to you, versus in a big company, like you can't just walk into Nestle and then talk to their management that what are your plans. They're not going to listen to you. But a microcap, investing in a microcap company might actually do it. So thank you so much, Ayush, for coming to for taking the time, coming and sharing your knowledge with us. I hope our members were able to enjoy. If anyone has any specific questions that they'd like to ask Ayush, we'll take some questions for maybe 5 more minutes. And if no questions come along, then we can call this a wrap, Ayush. I think it's pretty late in the evening for you also. And
Uh, uh, yeah, like it's okay for me. Even if we go for another 5-7 minutes, it's okay for me. So you mentioned about the economy. So
yeah.
if the questions don't come, I would like my concluding note to be about what I foresee for the economy going forward.
Oh, for sure.
And if the questions come, then I would not want that people hear to my boring note about the Indian economy going forward, because then I can actually answer questions from people who want to get answers to their questions.
Well, so far we don't see any questions. So let's go in with your what you have about the economy, because I did read your note and it was very interesting. So I'm sure it's definitely not boring. It has a lot of valuable insights. And if somebody in the meanwhile asks a question, then we will take a judgment call on whether it's something worth interrupting your note, or should we let it pass. So, which is a pressure, by the way, on the audience for asking really, really good questions. So go on, Ayush.
When we talk about the economic trajectory for the next decade, I find it to be actually very promising. And from personal ground level observations, as well as observations of people I've been in touch with, and the management statements, it indicates that we are actually at a multi-year growth phase, and this is something that very rarely happens. Very rarely it happens, and it is something to be very lucky to be born in a particular time when this is happening for a certain country, because ये बार-बार नहीं होता. And the growth is not basically solely driven by cost advantages, but also by MNCs diversifying their supply chains away from places like China. And India's focus on self-reliance is a very big factor which is coming into play. Make in India. We want to do everything make in India. So the smaller players today are also getting a chance, because earlier the bigger players, even though they were international players, they were getting a chance. But today, make in India is something which is like, we'll go for Indian players only. The global manufacturing landscape also is something which is experiencing some headwinds right now, and it is positioning India at a very sweet spot. And we should be open-minded, and the period of 2020 to 2030 basically can be seen as a period wherein a lot of people would be on a side that microcaps, SMEs, smaller companies are the bad apples, and aaj gire, aaj gire, aaj gire.
Oh yeah, but they're not gonna get a chance. So
and then there will be a side wherein multi-generational wealth will be made. So
from the
I am
stock
not
market.
hinting or implying to people on which side they have to be. It is my biased thinking that I have to be on the side, and I want to be on the side wherein I can make multi-generational wealth for my daughter and try to make it for my clients as well. So I am very optimistic. I am an eternal optimist when it comes to the markets, I don't like when the markets fall down, but I buy when the markets fall down. I don't short the markets ever. But when it now comes to the India, the manufacturing landscape, I feel that we are in a time that we may never see in the future
For
after
sure.
this 7-10 year runway is complete. So I would want to bet on the smaller guys, and I would not want to this time bet on the giants. So that is my take on the entire landscape of it.
Oh, wow. So, Ayush, your session, our session has actually been taken really well because there is request in the comment that request Ayush to come live more frequently. So, inshallah to that. And we're gonna have you with us again. I think I did not realize time fly by because I got to learn so much from you. Just for some context, everybody, Ayush and I actually met in Bangalore for the first time at a event, creators event, and Ayush is a pretty big deal on Twitter. So if you would like to know more of Ayush's thoughts, he's very vocal. He's uh, very open hearted when it comes to sharing his knowledge, his learnings, and he posts very well drafted tweets, long form tweets on Twitter. So if you want to know more about his opinion of microcap investing and learn more about microcap investing, and this is something that one member in the audience is also asking about, what direction they should take to learn more about micro investing.
I share the link. I share.
Yes, Ayush, if you can just
So I
quickly
have
drop
shared the
the,
links with you.
and I will quickly drop that
Yeah.
link. Awesome,
Yeah, so
awesome.
these are all the socials, guys. These are all my socials, by the way. This is nothing which I am doing in way of promoting my business. I am personally advising you not to go on my website. वहाँ पे मेरा business है, पर मैंने इसलिए डाली हुई है because वो it is basically my all my stuff that I do for my research desk वहाँ पे mentioned है. But I am personally advising you. बाकी सब जगह मैं बहुत सारा डालता हूँ और मैं फ्री में डालता हूँ और मैंने एक फीडबैक फॉर्म भी बनाया हुआ है जहाँ पे if anybody wants to connect with me, all they have to do is fill the Google form. I see all the responses every week. I see it and I get in touch with everyone. Personally, I get in touch with them. And if there is some way I can help them, I try to help them. So just ignore the website aspect of it. And though if you want to go on the website, you can obviously go. And बाकी सब जगह you can go and every data that is posted everywhere is free data. We post daily updates, we post sectoral updates, we post weekly updates, we write a lot of case studies. We are coming up with a magazine in the month of February. We are starting our own magazine starting the month of February. And बेसिकली अब बहुत सारी चीजें अभी लाइंड अप हैं तो आई लाइक टू कीप द अदर थिंग्स इन under the hood for now. Baki, you can connect with us here. Baki, you
Awesome.
can connect every thing is mentioned. I hope Kavita must have पूरा डाल दिया होगा आपने.
Yes, yes. Apparently there is a 200 character limit, तो मुझे break करके डालना पड़ा. But break करके मैंने आपके सारे links डाल दिए हैं. So whenever anybody is interested in searching any platform that they are comfortable with, they can find you. So with that, Ayush, I will thank you again for your time. Thank you so much for thinking that I am worthy to have you on my channel and have this wonderful conversation about microcaps. And despite of the little bit of technical glitches that we experienced in the beginning, I think the session went pretty great, and I for one got to learn a lot. So thank you so much for giving your time and attention and coming live with me.
Seriously, the pleasure was mine, Kavita. Like, I would just like to, say one thing before I leave. You said that you were worthy of my pleasure. See, I know people who have portfolios of over 500 crores, 1,000 crores, and they still talk to everyone like they got up in the morning. जो मिलता है उससे वैसे ही बात करते हैं. The day you develop an ego, the day you develop a air around yourself, that is the day you fall. So I am very happy talking to everyone. I am not that big a deal that you made me. I know people who are very bigger, much bigger than me, and who मेरे से ऐसे बात करते हैं जैसे I am basically a common person like them. I am at that level. So uh, I am seriously, I tell this to everyone I know. I tell this to everyone I meet. Ki boss, if you are talking to anybody, you are communicating with anybody, and if there is a certain air around, or if they are having a very upliftment about themselves, so just keep distances. So I'm very happy जब तक जमीन पे हूँ तब तक खुश हूँ, जब तक जिस दिन तक जमीन पे हूँ उस दिन तक जिंदा हूँ एक तरीके से. So I'm very happy being the guy. I don't want to ever be a guy who is unapproachable to people in good times as well as bad times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people should be always able to approach.
There you go, everybody. You're hearing Ayush. He's very, very open. He's very, very approachable. So you know how to get to him. So, all right. Great, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us and going through this session.